Bless you. So, did you know that you were going to be working with me today? What do you mean? Was it a surprise? Okay. What do we do? You know what I do? What do I do? Anybody have an idea what I do? Say it again. Well, no, but I get videotaped a lot. They can videotape me. Because I think they videotape me because I'm handsome and smart. What do you think of that? No, but you know what I like to do? I spend time with kids and we spend time writing stories and things like that. Do you guys get to write stories? Do you? What kind of stories do you get to write? You know what? I want you to take your jacket off because it's too hot and I don't want you to play with it. So I want you to take your jacket off and put it right up here for me. I like that jacket. All right, we'll put it right up there. I don't think we need it on today. I think it's warm in here. Do you get to write stories? Mm-hmm. What kind of stories do you get to write about? Oh, when you're riding a big bike? Did anything happen to you when you're riding a big bike? How do you feel when you're riding a big bike? Yeah, you do feel happy. So you get to write about how happy you are riding that big bike. What do you like to do when you're riding that big bike? Do tricks on it. Makes you feel good. What kind of stories do you get to write or talk about?
Going to the pool.
Going where?
Going to the pool.
Going to the pool. Did you get to go to the pool a lot this summer? What kind of things? How do you feel when you're going to the pool?
Happy.
You're very happy. What do you like? What makes you so happy when you're at the pool?
I like to swim.
You like to swim? What kind of things do you do when you're swimming? Can you swim fast? Do you swim underwater or over water?
Under and over.
Can you? Can you open your eyes underwater? All that stuff. Okay, great. Well, how about you? What do you like to do? What kind of stories do you like to tell or write about? I like that he's thinking. This is what I look like when I'm thinking. Look what he looks like when he's thinking. He looks up in the sky. Well, you be thinking about it. Do you get to write stories or tell stories? What do you like to do? What kind of things?
I like to go to Halloween.
Oh, you like to go to Halloween? So you're thinking about that? You know, what kind of feeling is that at Halloween time?
It makes me happy.
Oh, it does make you happy to think about that kind of thing? Okay. Yes, sir?
I like running around the block.
Oh, you like to be outside? You like to run around? What kind of things do you like to do as you're outside running around?
Play frisbee.
Oh, play frisbee. Are you good at that? Can you throw it high? Can you throw it fast? All right, that sounds good. So I want you to be thinking about that. I like to write stories too, and I'm going to start writing a story right now. I was trying to think about what story could I write about today? And the first thing I thought about was my dog. Do you guys have a dog? Do you have any animals?
Yes. I have 6. Yes.
You have what?
6.
You have 6? Well, here's what I think about. I think about my dog, and I think about all of the feelings I have with my dog. Sometimes my dog makes me really happy. Sometimes I get kind of mad at the dog. Sometimes I get kind of sad. And I thought, well, which one of those? I'm going to write about my dog, but you know what I was thinking about? You know what? Sometimes I feel, sometimes a lot, but with him sometimes, mad. So I thought I'd write about a time that he makes me mad. Do you want to hear about that time that my dog makes me mad? So I just want you to watch what I do, and then I want to talk about what you saw me do as I write my stories. The first thing I do is this.
Beginning, middle, and end.
Oh, I made a mistake here. Well, right now I'm just going to do what? Am I going to do a beginning, middle, and end?
No.
Because how many parts do I have?
Beginning,
Yeah, I'm going to do beginning and end. How many parts do I have? 2. I have something that happens in the beginning and something that happens at the end. Do you want to hear about my dog and what makes me mad? It's this. Watch this. This is kind of the beginning, what makes me mad. What did I just make?
He scratches
What about the door?
Does he scratch on it?
Well, it's not a scratch. What is that thing right there?
Open the door.
What do they call that?
Handle. The one
A
out.
handle?
The one
A
out.
doorknob? Have you ever heard of that? A doorknob? Alright, so there's a doorknob. But what do you notice about my door? It is opened.
And your dog got out. One out.
Alright, so anyways, so I'm going to put me here. I'm going to put me here, right here. And this is me. I just do it kind of quick. And then I'm going to put my hands up here like this, and I'm going to tell you in a minute why. This is how you know it's me. Do I have a lot of hair or a little hair?
Little
Uh-huh. And then, so I have a little hair. That's how you know it's me. How else do you know that's me? What else could I do?
Your face.
Well, that's exactly right. I'm gonna put my face like this, I'm gonna put my eyes, because I gotta tell you what I'm doing, but I'm like, but how do you know that's me? How would you know that's me? What could I put?
Are you saying your dog's your label?
Huh? I could put a label. What's my label gonna be? What's my label for me?
Me.
Me. How do I spell me?
Emmy.
I have to do it faster. I wanna hear it faster.
Emmy.
Emmy spells,
Me.
spell it faster, let me hear you. Spell me.
Emmy.
Spell me.
Emmy.
Spell me.
Emmy.
Spell me. All right. How about this? The word we. It rhymes with me. It's just like me. Spell we.
We.
Spell it. Oh. All right. Look at. Watch this. Just what I'm doing over here. What word is that?
We.
Uh-huh. No. What word? Me. Spell we.
W.
Spell we.
W.
Spell we.
W.
Spell we.
W.
Look at that. Watch this. What's the same about me and we?
E. The E.
The E. All right. The E is, where's the E? At the beginning or the end?
And.
At the end. Look at me, we. Now ready? I want your hands up really quickly when you think you can spell it. Ready? I've got me. No, put your hands down, not the area. Ready? Me, we, and the word I want you to spell is he. Yes, sir.
H-E.
You sure?
Yes.
Let's check. Does that kind of fit with the pattern? Yes, it does. All right, so look at, okay, so you have me. Read these for me right now. You ready?
Me, we, he.
Are you the only one in this group? Ready? Let's all read it together. Ready? Go.
Me, he. Me, we.
Let's start again. Ready? Let's go.
Me, we, he.
Now quickly. B.
What? What?
B. Me, we, he, be.
B-E.
What do you think? Does that kind of follow our pattern?
Yes. Yes.
All right, so ready? Read me these words. I'm gonna mix them up. You ready for me to mix them up? Watch this. Ready? Go ahead.
He. We. He. Me.
Okay, there we are. So if you know how to spell me, you can spell other things. So anyways, here it is. Here's the thing. There I am. Somebody left the door open, and guess what happened?
Your dog ran out.
Uh-huh. He bolted out of the door. Every time somebody leaves the door open, he bolts out and runs away.
My little cute
All right, I'll make that, because it's kind of his rear end right there, right? And so do you know what I'm saying every single time? He gets out the door, and I have to go like this.
Speech bubble.
Uh-huh, it is a speech bubble. And what do you think's going to be in the speech bubble?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, could be, but I'm this. Uh-huh. And you know what his name is? You know what his name is?
No.
I'm going to put a label right above his rear end. Watch this.
Scott? Sam? Sam.
Well, keep watching.
Scotty.
What was the first part?
Gary.
Sam. Sammy. That's right, that's Sammy. There's me and that's Sammy. And every time he gets out, I'm like this. Sammy! Come back. How do I spell back? What's it start with?
B.
Uh-huh. What's it end with?
A. I mean, K. E.
What do you think? Back. What's it start with? Maybe I'll use the card right here. Back. What do you think it starts with?
C. B.
You think it starts like cat? What
No,
else?
B. It's a B.
It starts with a B, but what's it end with? A C or a K?
K. K.
K. It is a C. It's actually a CK. Watch this. So
K
back.
like that.
All right. Come back. What punctuation should I use? Sammy, come back. Should I use a period, a question mark, or an exclamation mark?
Question mark.
Uh-huh. An exclamation mark. Why should I use an exclamation mark? You tell me. Why should I use an exclamation mark?
Because it's a sentence.
Well, yeah, it is a sentence, but what am I doing? Why didn't I use a period? Why did I use an exclamation mark? How did I say it? Like this. Sammy, come back.
Loud.
I did say it really loud. How did I say it? Sammy, come back. I yelled it, and
Yes,
so
a
I used
dot?
an exclamation
You
mark.
did a dot?
A line with a dot after it. Okay, so that's my beginning. Every time Sammy, every time somebody goes out the door, they leave the door open, what happens to Sammy?
One runs out.
Well, he just runs out. What did I say? I'll make some lines like this.
Speed.
Speeds. He bolts out of the house. And how does that make me feel?
Mad.
Kind of mad, right? And then, so that's my beginning. What's my ending? What's my ending? Oh, I know. All right, so you know what I have to do? I have to go into the house and get my secret ingredient to get in bed.
Dog food. Treats. Boy.
Well, you'll be surprised, so watch this. Watch me do this, right?
Beep.
This is my end. Who's this?
You.
It is, so what am I gonna do to label?
Me.
I have to label me. And then I'm gonna make, watch this, and then I'm gonna make Sammy right here. So I'm gonna make my body and my head, I'm gonna go slow, because I wanna make sure that I can, how many legs do I need to put for my dog? Four. And, all right, he's right here, and I'll make his nose and his ear, I'm gonna make his tongue hanging out like this, right? And then,
Where's his eye?
I don't put his eyes on, I'm just trying to do that, but anyways.
What's that?
And this time I'm gonna put a little smile on my face. Why do you think I have a smile on my face?
Because he came back.
Because he comes back, and it's all because of my secret ingredient, right? I have to label this. What am I gonna put for a label on this?
Sammy.
I am gonna write the word Sammy right up here. How do I spell Sammy?
Sammy.
Okay, so there's Sammy. So anyways, there's my story. All right, so let me think about it. I gotta write my words now. How many sentences am I gonna have?
2.
I'm gonna have 2 sentences. I gotta have a sentence for my
Beginning.
and a sentence for my end. So let me think about my first sentence. Let me think about this. So I've got to start my sentence. Do I start with an upper or lowercase letter? Uppercase letter. Sometimes or all the time?
All the time.
All the time, absolutely all the time. I have to start my sentences with a capital letter. How about this? It, are you watching me? Watch this. It look at the beginning sound of that. It makes
me happy. Mad? Happy or mad?
well, what do you think? How did I feel in the
Mad.
beginning?
Mad.
Let's see if it can be the word mad. Are you watching? Watch this.
Sammy.
It makes me Sammy. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? No.
Mad.
Can it be mad?
Yes.
Look at right here. Can it be mad?
No.
No, it can't. What letter does this start with?
Sad.
What letter is this? S. It makes me
Sad.
sad.
Sad man. So.
Oh, it makes me so
Sad. Mad. Mad. I knew it. Mad.
It makes me so mad when
He runs out the door. Sammy. Runs out the door.
it makes me so mad when Sammy.
Bolts.
You think it could be bolts?
Yes.
What would be at the end of bolts? What letter at the end? Bolts.
S.
Watch this. See if it could be the word bolts. Yeah, oh, it is. So read this. Ready? It makes me.
So mad when Sammy bolts.
What word's coming out of the? What word's coming up next? When Sammy. What letter does out end with?
Oh.
Listen. Say out.
Out.
What's it end with? Oh, here's a word. How about the word of? How do I spell that? O-F. It makes me so mad when Sammy bolts out of the. That's a word we know how to spell. How do you spell the? T-H-E, I like how fast you were with that, and if I didn't know, I could check right here, let me see if I could find it, is it my word, is my list right here? There it is, right there. Spell it one more time. T-H-E. All right, it makes me so mad when Sammy bolts out of the,
House.
what ending sound do you hear?
S.
All right, and I think I need to have, I have to put a punctuation, I have a capital letter at the beginning, what do I need to put at the end? You think so? Do I need a period or a question mark or an exclamation mark?
Question mark.
Listen and see if it's a question, see if it's a question. It makes me so mad when Sammy bolts out of the house. Is that a question?
No.
It isn't a question. So it needs a period or an exclamation mark. An exclamation mark, is it kind of exciting? I think so, I think an exclamation mark. And look what I like to do. Cha-ching. All right, now what am I gonna be writing? Right there, okay, let me think about this. It makes me so mad when Sammy bolts out of the house. How about this?
Was decided. Smile.
How do you know it's smile? I smile.
Because it starts off with S and an M.
An S and an M, that's exactly right. I smile though. I smile though when, oh, let's see if it's the word I. I smile though when so.
Sad.
I smile though when sad.
Smile. Me. Sammy.
Right? How about this? I smile though when Sammy.
Comes out the door. Back. Oh. Get. I didn't mean to say that.
Come back to get his. Okay, right here. What letter is this right here? To get his cheese. That's exactly right. What brings Sammy back? Cheese. What's my secret ingredient? Cheese. What does cheese start with? Not just C-H. So I gotta label this. Watch me label my cheese. You ready? Watch me. There we are. So there's my story. What do you think of that story? How am I feeling in the beginning?
Mad.
How am I feeling at the end?
Happy.
Happy. All right, now, I want you to write your story, right? You have to have a story. I want you to write your pool story, right? You're gonna write your bike story. You're gonna write what? Your Halloween story. And what are you gonna write, sir?
My frisbee story.
Your what story?
Frisbee.
Your Frisbee story. Now, what did I do that you have to do?
All of those things.
Uh-huh. How many parts to your story do you have to have?
3.
No.
1, 2.
You have to have 2 parts. You have to have a B and an E. So how many lines do you have to draw down your picture? How many lines down? How many lines did I draw? 1 line. So you have to have a B and an E, right? Who has to be in your story?
You.
Uh-huh. How many times are you going to be in your story? 2, I think. One's the beginning, one's in the end. Do you have to put labels? Do you have to label your picture? I want to see labels. And I'm trying to think what else. Do you have to have 2 pictures? You have to have B and E? You have to have you in your picture? Does something have to happen?
Yes.
Yes, something has to happen. Do you have to put where your story takes place?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Does your story happen inside or outside?
Inside.
Yours inside, you swim inside. Where's your story happen, inside or outside?
Outside.
Where does your story happen? Inside or outside? Outside, yes. And what does your story happen, inside or outside?
Outside.
All right, so I want you to see that, right? All right, there you go. I want you to start your plan, do your 2 pictures, right? And here's your paper.
Pencil.
Pencil and paper. Okay. All right, there we go.
Pencil paper.
Oh, and just, do you have to say something in your plan?
Yes.
You do, do you have to put a speech bubble? Do you know how to make a speech bubble?
Yes.
All right, good, go for it. And do you have to take your time and do we have to be able to recognize everything in your picture? Yes, we do. Why do we have to recognize things in your picture?
Because you don't know what it is, so.
Yeah, you have to know, and who else has to know?
You.
Me. I have to know, so I have to be able to recognize your picture, and I want you to take your time and do a good job. So you have to be there, you have to be inside and
How
outside.
do you spell frisbee?
Well, can you use your card to help you with Frisbee? You don't have the green card, do you?
Oh, yeah, sorry. That has blends on it.
Alright, I like that you're trying to label. What else do you hear? Listen, Frisbee. Look at frog, just like frog. Frog, Frisbee. What else do you hear in Frisbee? It isn't one. Frisbee. Say more. It goes like Frisbee.
Is it S?
Put it down. Put it down. Write an S. What else do you hear? Frisbee. Remember, look at this. Remember we did this. Read me these words right here.
B, B, C, B,
How do you spell B?
B.
Don't erase. Nope, don't erase. What do you need to add? You need to add a letter. What are you going to add? How do you spell B? Look right here. How do you spell B?
Down.
Look right here. How do you spell B? Spell B for me. Look at my finger. Spell it. Look right here. Nope. How do you spell B? B-E. Look at right by my finger. B-E. Frisbee. What do you need to add to that word? Oh, good job. Now keep writing. Keep drawing your picture. So there's your Frisbee. What about this? Who's that? I want to see a label up there. And this, yeah, there you go. Now, what did you just write up there, sir?
My name.
Is that your name? Or is that or should you, what should you put up there? What else could you put up there besides your name? What did I write above me? Yes, I want you to draw a line through that. Just draw a line through it. Nope, draw a line through your name. Because I don't want you to call, I want you to say me. Draw a line through it. Oh, watch this here. Watch this. I want you to draw a line for it right here, and I want you to write the word me right above that. All right. All right, where are your labels, sir? Who are these guys right here? Who's this? Let's put some labels on there. Do you know how to write me? Here's your card right here. And who's the other person? All right, the word dad is on your yellow card too. Where's the word dad? Let him do it. All right, and you know what? I want you to draw it. That's okay, but I want you to draw it a little bit bigger, okay, so you can see it a little bit more. Okay. Did you forget to do your B and your E up here? You put a B for the beginning. And who is this right here? What's the label that goes up there? Who is that? Oh, it's your friend. Who's your friend? What's the name? What's his name? Because this is you. Are you throwing the Frisbee? Who's your friend? Come up with the friend's name. How about me? It could be me. You know what my name is? David. You could write David up there. What sounds do you hear in David? Go ahead. The label up there. All right. So tell me about your story. What's happening here in the beginning? All right. So you're going to trick-or-treating, going to house, you and your dad? Mm-hmm. Anything else you need to think about?
My mom's in the house.
Where are you going? Are you going to somebody's house? Is this your house?
No, it's my friend's house.
Oh, it's your friend's house? Who's your friend? Logan? You gonna put Logan's name up there? Logan's house? Up there? All right, so tell me your story. What's happening here?
About the roller frisbee.
About to throw the frisbee? All right. What kind of a throw are you gonna do? What are you gonna try to make it do? What can you do with your frisbee?
Make it go to the other person.
You make it go to the other person? Do you throw it, how are you gonna show you making it go to the other person? Oh, it's right there? Do you throw it hard? How do you throw it? How are you gonna throw it?
Light, because it goes more faster, more vital.
All right, so how are you gonna throw it? Why don't you draw an arrow right up here? And how are you gonna throw it? Fast? Hard? How are you gonna throw it?
That's
Fast? Like that? So write the word fast right up here. You know what I want you to think about? I want you to do? Do you know how to write lowercase letters? I want you to write lowercase letters like here's that lowercase f, a lowercase a.
I'm not to do a little frisbee.
You know how to do it in lowercase a? All right, but finish writing the word fast. Listen. Fast, like star. Just-
Anything?
Huh? No, no. Just make it right here. I don't want you erasing. I like that. What letter goes at the end? All right, so there you are. Look at how you're throwing it. How you're throwing it.
Fast.
And how did I catch it? Did I catch it? And what did I say when I caught it? I didn't say, when you catch something, you don't think I would say anything?
I will put some.
If I caught it, I'd be like this, woohoo! Make a speech bubble, make me say that. Give yourself plenty of room, there you go. Yep. What did I say? All right. Is that a speech bubble? Mm-hmm. But you know what you might need to make, let's hear it. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? Well, what do you say though when you go to Logan's house? What are you gonna say? Are you going trick or treating? Do you say trick or treat? All right, maybe that's what you could say, trick or treat. Why don't you write trick or treat right here, and then we'll put a speech bubble around it. How's that? Okay. You got your beginning done? So tell me about your beginning, because I want you to move on to your end. What's happening here? Okay, so is that going to be at the end? Were you riding your bike fast? Okay, so how are you going to show that you're going fast? How are you going to show that you're going fast? Yeah, I love it. All the lines right there. All right, so are you going as fast as the wind? Yes, and when you're inside, is this you going inside? All right, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to draw the line right over here. That's your beginning, and this is your end, right? And maybe you could make this the house. All right? How about that? Turn that into the house at your end. And maybe you could put a glass in your hand. How's that? Okay, does that sound good? Mm-hmm. All right. Did you say anything? You have to put something. You have to say something. What did you say? Did you have to ask Mom for a glass of water? What are you gonna say? All right. What did I say? Did you get that down? What's the first letter?
Spell Willow.
Well, what's the first letter? You know what I want you to do? I want you to hold your pencil down closer to here, and I want, yep. How about this? Woohoo! What do you think you hear? Woo-hoo. How about an O? All right, remember what I say? How about this? How about woohoo? Where is it? Right here. We'll get that down. Oh, right here. What letter is that? Yep. Woohoo. Yep. What other letter do you think you need to put in there? Yep. And what are you going to use? You're going to put a period, question mark, or exclamation mark? You think a period? How'd I say it? Did I like this? Woohoo. What should I have? All right. I think, are you ready to tell your story? Are you ready to tell your story? I think you are. Are you ready to tell your story? Do you have everything? Do you have a B and an E? Did you tell where your story happens? Did you have a problem? Did something happen? And did you say something? Okay. Are you ready to start yours? Are you ready to start yours yet? I think they're still working. She's almost done. I think you're done. You almost done to tell your end of your piece? Okay. Let's stop for a minute. I think you're all set. Hang on for a minute. Let's tell our stories. Okay. You're first. What are you going to say? What's your story? When you start to write it, you're not going to write it today. You can start writing tomorrow. What are you going to say in the beginning?
I am playing a frisbee.
Well, I want you to think, what did you do here? Look at this picture right here. What did you do?
I pulled it fast.
So what are you going to say down here? I threw the frisbee fast. Yep. And who? You might even say, who to throw it to? Okay, so maybe you can say, I threw the frisbee fast to who? To David. Now, then when you go back, what are you going to say in your second sentence? How did I feel when I caught that frisbee?
Happy.
So what are you going to say for your second sentence? When? Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to say. Okay, tell me you started to write. What sentence are you going to write for the beginning? What are you going to say here? Tell me what's going on in your picture. What's happening here? Tell me what you drew. What picture you? No, I don't. I want you to just look at the picture. What's happening up here in your picture? Tell me what's going on. What's this then? What's this? Who's that right there?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to go into the water.
You're trying to go into the water. So what are you going to say when you write about this? What happened when you went into the water? Not really what?
Go into the water.
What were you going to do? You didn't want to go into the deepest water. So when you're here, were you in the shallow part or the deep part? The little part?
Deep.
Oh, you were in the deep part. So you were ready to get in the deep part. And what did you want to say over here? What's happening over here? What did you do here?
I ran the
And did you go in the shallow part or the deep part?
deep.
You did go into the deep part, so you got brave and went to the deep part. So what are you going to say here? Were you nervous about going into the deep part? Okay, so you could say, I was nervous about going into the deep part, but what happened at the end? You were happy? Were you brave? You were. So you know what I'm going to put right here? Watch me do this. What did I just put over you? What are those called? You know, question marks?
Question mark.
Why did I put those question marks over your head?
Because I was not really. I was nervous.
Yeah, you were nervous. And over here, do you look nervous anymore?
Yes.
No, so you could write about that you were nervous here, but you weren't nervous there, right? Okay, tell me your story. What happened in the beginning? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say in the beginning? What did you say? Hmm? Okay, but what did you say? Look at the lines. What kind of biking were you doing? Yeah, you were riding your bike fast at the beginning, right? Do you like riding your bike fast? You do. So you're riding your bike fast, and what do you need usually after you're done riding your bike fast? So you needed a drink of water. So you need to say that second. So you're talking about how you were riding your bike fast, and you needed a drink of water at the end. Did you say biking is fun? Okay. So you have how many sentences are you going to have when you write your story? You might have 3, but yes, but you have to have how many? You have to have at least how many? You have to have one for this and one for this. Tell me your story. What are you going to say in the beginning? You went trick-or-treating? To whose house? And what are you going to say at the end? And what happened when you went to Logan's house? Did you get something? What did you get from Logan? Do you remember? Okay, so you could probably put what you got from Logan, right? Okay. All right, I think you guys are done. I think you want to stop here. I think this will be a good place to stop. What do you have to do when you write a story? How many pictures do you have to have?
2.
2. You have to have a beginning and a end. How many sentences are you going to write?
2.
You gotta write at least 2. One that goes for the beginning and one goes for end. What else do you have to put in your pictures? What else do you have to put in your pictures?
Period.
Where do you put your periods, in the pictures or at the end of your sentences? How many periods are you going to have?
1. You have to have you in it. You have to have you in it.
You have to have you in it, so you have to be in there. Yep, you have to be whether you're inside or outside. And does something have to happen? Yeah. Right. And then do you have to say something? Do you have to have a speech bubble? You do. And then you have to have 2 capital letters and 2 periods, right? Because you're going to have 2 sentences. All right, we're done. I think you're all set. Can I take your stories? Okay. And your teacher's going to tell you where you have to go. Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks.
No, it's supposed to be right.
Are they all set?
Let's go. Yep.
Okay.
Not on your back. No, just.
See you guys. All right, guys. Work a little bit. All right. So what are some of the things you're thinking about there with these kiddos? Thoughts?
Constantly questioning them
Yes. About
and
what?
asking them to respond,
Okay.
whether with the beginning sound, the ending sound,
Okay.
the next word,
Okay.
if they're missing something in their picture.
Okay. What else are people thinking about? Challenges. What are some of the things you're thinking about with these kids?
I don't know if it's whether they understood what you were asking or not, but they seemed to struggle a little bit with making those, the me, we, she, those.
Okay.
They seemed to struggle a little bit. It was hard to tell if they were just not quite understanding what you were asking or
Okay.
if it was the making.
Well, right. Yeah. Because how much experience do you think your kids have making words?
Well, we actually, after our opening day with you, have been concentrating on word families, and I have a specific spot on the wall. And
Yeah.
we have been creating word families and doing dictation, every other day.
Okay.
We've done it, but still, I mean, we haven't, that system, might not be in place enough
Right.
yet
Yeah.
also.
I mean, that's part of just kind of what I think kids need to be able to do for right now too, right? Which is be able to generate new words, especially words like, they should all know me, and they do. And so one of the things I constantly want to do with kids is get them to generate new words, because I want them to be fluent with new words, right? So I always do little things like that with kids, just so they get to be able to do that. And I think we have to do it pretty constantly with them, be able to generate new words, because I don't think they quite know, how to go about doing that. So that's one thing I want to do. So, but what do you think about like kids automatically labeling and using things, you know, do you feel like they're good at that? That just the expectation that they're supposed to label and things like that, what did you think? Because I don't feel like they kind of know that they're supposed to label and
No.
things like that, right? And so one of the things I was trying to do was just to get them to know what they have to do. Boys and girls, you need to label, right? And so really starting with the picture and really hitting that home about labeling, you know, it's constantly, what do who's this right here? What did you do right here? Oh, write that down right there. So I want to try to get, as much in the picture as I possibly can. So he's a man of few words and whatever, but I'm trying to get a few things in there, right? So who's this? And I thought this was really interesting. I don't know why he would write his name. Is he new to that? Is he new?
No, he always puts his name on his paper, but he doesn't.
He doesn't
Put it
get
at
the
the
idea
top.
of even labeling, the fact for a story is that he's not gonna write his name, right? He's gonna write me. I thought that was kind of interesting.
He's thinking in third person instead of in first person.
Right. So he doesn't even have the idea of, that a story, that you don't do this, right? So getting the labels going, right? And so, and then being able to, put something in there to show action. What did you do is the first video. Again, throwing it fast. I want some description in there because kids aren't gonna get description typically, right? So how'd you throw it? It's a pretty simple story, but it was okay, right? That you threw it fast. Here's the frisbee. So, I just think, I think it's a really good thing to go back. Megan gave us some, where are these kids, Megan, in the scheme of things?
Way brand new. I mean, like probably, low to medium.
Yeah.
and Low to medium and just brand new at it.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
having any experience
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, and so one of the things I just kind of wanted them to know is probably which is where you need to start, is not so much quality writing, but the fact is, that they have to have a beginning and an end, they have to have labels, that they have to draw something that's recognizable. This, I think she had trouble even being able to articulate what she was doing right, that's why as soon as I put the question marks there, she kind of knew she had a smile on her face, like she knew, that she was a little confused, right, that she was in the deep end. So I think, so I'm gonna add things to help kids sometimes to kind of know what they're gonna say, I don't know. Just a lot of trouble in this idea of telling a story, right? So I think it's really gonna be helpful to go back and, get kids to articulate, what's gonna be in the beginning, what's gonna be at the end, right? Labeling their pictures, making sure they have a speech bubble in there. And so I think I'd do a lot with their pictures first and then go back and do the writing down below. What are other people thinking? Was not,
Huge piece about modeling proficiency.
Mhm.
You started out eliciting responses from them,
yes,
and then you ended up, and all throughout, what are my expectations?
Yeah.
You ended up,
yeah.
what are we gonna do? What are we
Yeah.
gonna do each time we sit down and
Yeah.
write a story?
And I'm actually thinking about the idea of them needing to have lots of models, right? That we need to make sure we're writing with these kids and writing with these kids. They can't go a day without writing, right? And doing a two-part plan, that consistency of doing a two-part plan, right? So.
So you want him to come up with a new emotion and a new plan every single day?
Not every single day. That this is good. I'm thinking that this story might take a couple of days, 2 or 3 and 4 days to get these stories out of kids, right? But you need to be constantly telling stories, going back. I'd be revisiting this story all the time. All right, so what's happening in my beginning? What's happening at my end? Reviewing these things. What do I need to have in my stories, right? And stuff, because I think we need to get these kids, into knowing what the structure is, and I think the structure is going to be really important for them, right? What are other people thinking? It's gonna take, I think it's gonna take a lot to, to get them to have these two-part stories, right? But I think we have to get them kind of moving on to this piece, right? And so I think one of the things I'd be thinking about is not necessarily, doing a lot with, what is a quality story, but right now, what's the structure, right? The beginning and end of the picture and 2 sentences to go with that, right? So.
And would there be anything wrong with this time of the year as a class or as an individual checkout sheet, maybe in their writing folder, to just say, picture, ching.
Yeah,
You know, for them to go down
Yeah.
through the list,
yeah,
to learn that process.
Yeah.
And what's expected,
yeah,
so that they can say, okay, got that, okay, yeah, I got that, oh,
Yeah.
I need to put that.
yeah,
Because right now, they're not gonna remember all of those pieces
Right.
and parts.
yeah,
It might be might be cool to do it in kind of a Rubus form,
yes,
Right,
you know,
right.
yes,
with, show a speech bubble,
yes,
show
yes,
the line
Yes.
down the B and E.
Yeah.
What else? Speech bubble.
speech bubble,
Character.
labels,
A character, how
Yeah.
do you draw a picture for a character, like
Just a person,
just
Right.
a person?
yeah. Yeah,
I'm just kinda trying to
So that
think
they
of-
have something to fall back on.
Yes.
So when teacher is busy with somebody else,
Yeah.
they can look at that
yeah,
and hopefully process through it.
yeah. Yeah. And I guess I wonder too, how often you're gonna write with these kids too, you know, I mean, they need to have lots of experiences, right? So what that's gonna look like.
You could draw a little person with the word me over the top
Yes.
of it to make
Yes.
sure that they're in there.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. and I think it's also you using that when you're modeling to make sure you have that you're going back to that, you know, that diagram or whatever every single
Right.
time. Boys and girls, do I have my labels? Do I have my character? Am I in there? You know, do I have my B and my E in there, my two parts, right? And, you know,
Just like your model, using the card. When
Yeah.
you're writing,
yeah,
you use the card too.
yes,
You know, you point to it, you find,
Yeah.
you sound out a word, oh,
Yeah.
that's a blend, I'm gonna look on the back of the green card, and
Yeah.
then find that word star,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I guess that's the other thing I wondered about too, which is how well do they know the card? The pictures, right? And so, you know, probably was, you know, it's probably a mistake to go to that green card right now, right? But I even wondered, you know, where are the kids on sounds? You know, and how are they at doing that? Using the card?
You know, I'm noticing a lot of interchanges in the short vowels
Yeah.
and stuff with the kids, which is very scary.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, and since I've started working with you, David, every
Yeah.
time we sound out a word,
Yeah,
if it's a blend at the beginning, I
Right.
don't say st, it's st. You
Right.
know, it's the beginning, and then if it's ack, like back, then it's ack, it's part of the
Right,
ack
right,
family,
right,
it's
good,
ACK.
good, yeah,
So I'm not sounding out every little,
good,
you know, piece to the word, and that's what they're getting used to hearing me say.
good.
So I hope that that
Good.
continues.
yeah. But I guess my question would be, how well do they know either card, right? The yellow card or the green card,
Well, I
right?
think they're
Because-
getting to know the yellow card right now
Good.
because he just introduced it.
Yeah.
At the end of last week.
Yeah.
And then the green card I hadn't even
Yeah.
shown them yet.
Yeah.
But I will now that since I talk like that, I might as well show them,
The card,
show it to them.
yeah, yeah, so,
But I think what you just said was a really good point, to introduce the card, maybe even, not when you're writing, but
Oh.
to introduce it as a separate
Yeah, we
thing.
were at the mat.
To go
because-
through and you're reading all the letters and what starts with A, or the A, what starts with the, and go through it, and then you could even turn it to a game.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the word ball, where am I gonna look on the
yeah,
card?
I wonder even if,
Think
you know, a
of
few
cat
minutes every
or-
day, pull out the card, right, and make a fun little game or activity about it,
Which
What-
card could I look on to spell the word
mhm.
star
Yeah.
or frog?
Or if I wanted to write the word, pig, what picture would I be looking for right now? Everybody check right now, pig, right? What picture would I be thinking about, to get those pictures down pat a little bit, right? Just to play a few quick little games with it, right? And make sure the yellow card is down, because I wonder how many kids really could, need the yellow card, right? And how many kids might, need more the green card, right? So, yeah.
Even with the words too, you could do that. I'm gonna write a story about myself, what's the
Yeah.
word I'm gonna use, find the word that I'm gonna use,
Yeah.
where's me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So. All right, what are people taking away for themselves? What are you thinking about with this? What are some of the things you're thinking about from your own perspectives?
Backing up
Okay, yeah, I think so,
to beginning and end.
yeah, yeah. And being even basic with that for right now, I think we have to do the beginning and end and be really basic. It's kind of like, Megan, what you're talking about, is giving them things this is what you need to be, to put your beginning and end, right? To make sure that they know minimally what needs to be in there for right now.
To piggyback on that, my struggle with it, backing up to the beginning and middle,
Yeah.
is making sure that both of those sentences are really action-driven.
Yes.
Because we're used to that beginning, middle, and end where I was having a great time doing this, when all of a sudden, then your action doesn't usually happen until the middle. That's how stories are mostly
Yeah.
structured.
Yeah.
You find out who the characters and what the setting is at the beginning,
Yeah.
then you have your problem and solution.
Yeah.
When we're just condensing it to 2 parts,
Yeah.
now all of a sudden, we've really gotta make every word count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even wonder about, because I didn't do this with these kids, but I was, in hindsight, it probably needs to happen is, okay, so what are the 2 things you're gonna say about that ahead of time, right? Maybe even get that, right? Thinking about what you just said, Janet, would be, okay, so what's your story gonna be about trick or treating? That's what he said, okay. What's your first sentence gonna be about trick or treating? And then what's your second sentence gonna be? Okay, so go draw that right now. Now that I'm thinking about it, it'll probably be that, So, okay, so when first be, what's gonna be your first picture? What are you gonna say in there, right? And then, because I can kind of get that, because he didn't even have fast, he just said, I like, like most of my like throwing frisbees or whatever. Well, how'd you throw it fast, right? So, what are you gonna put in the first picture? You're gonna throw it fast? Okay, so what are you gonna say? So that they have that idea of what they're gonna say before they actually draw that. Because a couple of kids wanted to go to, that they like swimming, right? Versus, that the deep end and being confused, right? Because you as a teacher, you can say, okay, well, this is what I want you to, no, I want you to say this in your first in your first picture, right? That, you're afraid of the deep end, or you're afraid to go in there. What are you gonna say here? That you went in, that you were brave, and you went, okay, let's say that you were brave there, but I think that oral rehearsal is gonna be a huge thing for the kids to be able to be, before they start to draw, right? And that they know ahead of time what their story is gonna be.
And maybe we're not even prompting what are you going to say, because that makes me think my speech bubble.
Yes.
What are you going to write?
Right, I think that's exactly right. What are you gonna write in the?
I'm a little Ramona Quimby, you have to be.
Well, but I think you're right, I think that could be, so what are you gonna write, right? What are you gonna write in the for the beginning, what are you gonna write for the end, and get that sentence out ahead of time? Because I think that oral rehearsal is probably really important for those kids, yeah. Any other thoughts about this?
Well, some of the kids too, when it came to write, they were having a hard time coming up with the words
Yes,
to go with their picture
so that's why that
story.
oral rehearsal, I
Yeah.
think, is gonna be really important, right?
It was kind of like they looked back at you.
Yeah.
Tell me my story.
Yeah.
You put it back on him, you said, tell me what's going on in the
Picture, right,
Tell
right,
me,
yes.
instead of-
Because that was kind of interesting, a lot of times kids will pick something out in the picture, because a lot of times, when they look, they'll look and they'll say, and she was talking about the deep end, and that's where I was, I was thinking, okay, what do I need to be doing right now, because she's talking about the deep end, and
Right.
quickly, what I had to do was come up with a story for her, right? Oh, so you were kind of nervous about going in on the deep end? And I thought maybe she would say she wanted the shallow end down here, but she goes, no, I went into the deep end, and I'm like, so you were nervous here, but then you were brave over here, okay, let's write that. But, having that, but trying to get them to articulate something, probably be ahead of time, is gonna be more helpful to those kids, yeah, so, all right.